Coming up on Rambler Sports Locker, it's time to get in the Halloween spirit as we look at some of the best costumes worn by pro athletes.
Plus, a look at the 2022 World Series matchup, including some baseball trivia.
Also, women's volleyball continues to dominate as they extend their win streak to 12 games.
I'm Samantha Martinez.
And I'm Abbey Sileo.
All this and so much more.
The Rambler Sports Locker Halloween special begins now.
Welcome back to Rambler Sports Locker. Halloween is just around the corner, so of course we had to dress up. Tell us about your costume, Abbey.
So this year I'm Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls, which is one of my favorite shows. The 10-year anniversary was this past summer, so I knew I had to honor it. I'm here with Mabel's signature sweater and her best friend Waddles by my side. Give me more information about your costume, Sam.
This year's Halloween hit me again one more time, and I realized that I should go as Britney Spears. I just feel in the spirit to perform a flash mob for the school with my amazing singing voice. Talk about getting in tune for this year's Halloween.
We're far from the only ones in the sports world with the Halloween spirit. Elizabeth Winchester is here to share some of the most memorable costumes worn by pro athletes over the years.
Thanks, Abby. Halloween is just a few days away, and if you're anything like me, you may have waited until the last moment to pick out a costume. Not to worry, I've got some great costume options straight from professional athletes, so sit back and get ready to take notes as I review 3 of my favorite pro athletes' Halloween costumes from last year. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers radiated Keanu Reeves' energy and went as John Wick. Some couples go as cute, matching costumes, but the Cleveland Cavaliers center Robin Lopez and his girlfriend went as Batman and the Penguin for Halloween. Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett went all out. He decorated his lawn with tombstones bearing the names of NFL quarterbacks for the Halloween season. To wrap the move together, he wore sack reaper costumes. These are my top 3 favorite costume ideas that athletes wore last year. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Elizabeth Winchester.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Baseball fans have a lot to celebrate before Halloween begins. The 2022 World Series between the Philadelphia Phillies and Houston Astros begins this Friday. William Bazzone has a preview of this year's matchup.
Football season is in full swing, hockey and basketball are starting back up, but don't overlook the end to an amazing Major League Baseball season. On Friday, October 28th, the 118th edition of the World Series will begin. The Houston Astros repeated as American League champions, reaching their 6th consecutive league championship series with 106 wins. The Brooms came out after sweeping the New York Yankees in 4 games. Representing the National League is the Philadelphia Phillies, a surprise team to many. 51 games into the season, manager Joe Girardi was fired, but interim manager Rob Thompson righted the ship and helped the team sneak into the postseason. After upsetting last year's World Series winner, the Atlanta Braves in the ALDS, they made quick work of the San Diego Padres in the NLCS, winning in 5 games. While Philadelphia had a tremendous run, I think Houston is a better team in almost every area. From starting pitching to hitting, team defense and bullpen help to finish out close games. The Phillies will need to keep riding their mojo if they want to stand a chance against them. I predict the Astros will win it all in 5 games. The Fall Classic will be aired on Fox tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Central, with Joe Davis and John Smoltz on the call. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm William Bazzone.
Thanks, William. Mabel knows a thing or two about solving mysteries, but one we haven't solved yet is how much do Loyola students know about the World Series? Lucas Kihmm is on the case as he tests their MLB knowledge in the latest segment of Lucas Learns.
What's up, guys? It's Lucas Kihmm here with another edition of Lucas Learns. Today, I'm going around Loyola University Chicago's campus asking students about their World Series knowledge. So let's get straight into it. What's your name?
Bridget. Jen. Sophia.
Kantaro.
My name's Adnan.
And Bridget, what year are you?
I'm a freshman.
I'm a second year.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about the World Series. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get it. How many innings are in a baseball game?
7.
9.
4.
Bruh.
Sure. 8. 4.
Bruh.
Final answer.
4.
Incorrect. There's 9 innings in a baseball game. 2 more questions.
Probably not gonna be good at this.
It's okay. All right, number 2. Who had a 108-year drought of no World Series titles until 2016?
The Cubs.
Is it the Chicago Cubs?
Yes. Let's go.
The Cubs.
Yep, correct. No World Series titles.
The Cubs.
Yes, correct. Okay, there you go. You got 1 at least. Last question. Which team has the most World Series wins?
I have no idea. Do you know any other team?
Bruh.
Is it also the Cubs?
Yankees.
Yeah, you got it.
Dodgers.
It's actually the Yankees. And who you got winning the World Series? It's the Astros and the Phillies.
I guess Astros.
Probably Astros.
Yeah, Phillies out.
All right, that's what's up.
Astros?
Let's go. That's about it for Lucas Learns this time. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Lucas Kihmm.
Thanks, Lucas. Any major sporting event can take a toll on professional athletes. On this week's edition of The Ramble, our panel looks at how mental health impacts athletes' performances.
Oh, hey there, friends, and welcome back to The Ramble. I'm your host, Clark Kent, or Lucas Kihmm, here with Oliver Allen, Vanessa Hoxha, Elizabeth Winchester, and William Bazzone. We've got another spooktacular segment today with this week's brewing question that's definitely got a witch stirring her pot. Is a professional athlete using mental health as an excuse for not being able to perform justifiable? I think it's important to keep an open mind with this question because everyone's mental health is different, and some may see it as a cop-out response for playing poorly, where others interpret it as something that truly affects their performance. You have athletes like Simone Biles stepping down from competition during the Olympics, or wide receiver Calvin Ridley, who may look like a tough guy on the field, step away from football in 2021 to address his mental health issues. So I'd like to start off with Oliver and hear your take on this.
I think that mental health is 100% a justifiable reason to not play. Mental health is a topic that's seen as not masculine, I feel like, by many people, and to have professional athletes, especially football players, guys who are tackling each other, seen as very masculine by many people, but also as role models to a lot of young boys, to have them normalize talking about mental health and your problems, and to show that everyone goes through that, no matter how muscular you are, no matter how much money you're making. I think that's more important than anything in the game.
I think going off of what Oliver said, we need to make sure that we are prioritizing and showing that people have an actual way to take care of their mental health, because otherwise they're just going to bottle it up, and that's no good for anyone, because mental health really does affect the body and your physical health as well as your performance. So if you're not being able to perform at peak with peak mental health, then you need to step away, and there shouldn't be repercussions for that, because that is really important. It's honestly one of the strongest things that a lot of people can do, especially within the sports where it's such a kind of hard-going sport that you just need to grin and bear it. And so showing that you can do it is really important.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think these are all great points. I think that is 100% justifiable. Kind of just take any injury, for example, a broken arm, a broken finger, a broken leg. You see someone get injured, you're going to expect them to either get out of the game or play poorly. And I think that just because you can't see it doesn't make it any less impactful. For example, in the UFC fight last weekend, the co-main event, TJ Dillashaw, his whole shoulder popped out of his socket, and he kept playing. He ended up losing the match. Some may say, oh, it was because his shoulder popped out of his socket, and that is extremely justifiable. But as far as mental illness, just because you can't see it doesn't make it any less impactful.
Interesting. Well,
Look, it's a really tough thing to really think about mental health. Just seeing somebody that you really care about go through that. But at the end of the day, your brain is like any other part of your body, like Vanessa was saying. You know what I mean? If you don't treat your brain properly and give it the help and assistance that it needs through therapy, taking time away from your sport, then I just think your performance is going to suffer. Your physical health is going to suffer as well, and I really just think if you don't take the time or have people step up and say, hey, I'm struggling, then it's just going to lead to a lot of negative consequences down the road.
now if an athlete were to take time away from the game just because of mental health, how do you think this would affect their contract? Would it be just like if a player was injured? How would this affect it? Or would they not get paid? What do you guys think?
I think with a lot of athletes, some people might think, oh, well, what if they use that as a cop-out to not play? But these guys are playing this is their lifestyle. They're competitors. They're not just gonna be like, man, I really don't feel like playing today. I'm gonna say that I'm not in a great mental state. I can't think of a single player that would do that. So I think that it's just up to the players in front offices to negotiate salary with that.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback off that, I think if they didn't get paid or compensated for their time off, I think that'd be setting a pretty bad example to the younger generation and kind of making it seem that these men and these women are like machines just because they're professional athletes, where that's totally not the case. I mean, we're only human at the end of the day, and I feel like I said, it's just setting a bad example to the younger generation, looking up to them.
Yeah, definitely, because if you break a bone or something and you can't work, you will be able to take pay time off. So the same thing applies, because the same thing that we've been talking about, that just because you can't see doesn't mean that the injury isn't as severe. And sometimes it can actually be more crippling, because at least with an injury like a broken bone, you can put a cast on it and you can pretty much still go. But with depression, that can paralyze people, and that can really put them in a very bad spot that they can barely get out of bed, let alone go play a sport. So by letting them have the paid time off and having that ability to be able to take that time and not have to worry about a paycheck, that takes another stress off of their plate that they can just focus on themselves.
I really appreciate the comments from Mrs. Incredibler, Arthur, Bad Angel, and Hockey Guy. Let's continue to look out for each other's health and always take time for some self-care. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll pass it back to Abbey and Samantha with some Loyola sports updates.
Thanks, everyone. This Tuesday, Loyola women's volleyball defeated the St. Louis Billikens for their 12th straight win. Vanessa Hoxha was at Gentile Arena for the game and is here with the recap.
The Loyola women's volleyball team just won its 12th straight match in the Atlantic 10 Conference against the St. Louis Billikens 3-1 in set play. Loyola now remains undefeated in the Atlantic 10 Conference, keeping them in first place. As senior outside hitter Addie Barnes addressed in the press conference after the match, Loyola is now the team to beat. In the match against the Billikens, the Ramblers came out strong with the upper hand in the first set, 25-19. Loyola then hit a bit of a rough patch in the second set, coming out short, 25-22, resulting in the Billikens winning the set. The third set began quite neck and neck, but when you feed hitters like junior outside hitter Carly McNabb, Barnes, and junior right side hitter Emily Bannett, the Ramblers found it easy to break away and rack up some points. McNabb and Barnes both ended their night with a double-double, along with sophomore setter Bree Borum. Whether you were at the game or watching the recap right here at RSL, Borum's performance did not go unnoticed. Coming in number 1 of the assist leaders, Borum ended the match with a total of 38 assists. In addition, Borum played lights-out defense, accumulating a total of 16 digs. Talk about some killer setter defense. The Ramblers took the third set 25-20 and the fourth set 25-17, resulting in the Ramblers' 12th victory in a row. We caught up with head coach Amanda Berkeley and outside hitter Addie Barnes in the press conference, where executive producer Gabbi Lumma got some insight after the game.
Proud of the team for another win. It's going to continue to get more challenging as we go further into this conference play. And St. Louis played, I thought, really tough. They were down a few players, and I thought they came out and played a really good match. And I'm just proud of the team for responding after losing set 2. So just proud of the team.
Yeah, I mean, being 12-0, it holds us to a different standard than everyone else. Being the team that everyone wants to beat, it's good pressure. I think our team embraces it really well, and it's only going to get tougher from here on out, but I think we're very much prepared for what's to come. Like Amanda said, the depth in our team is crazy, and everyone has full confidence in each other.
The Ramblers return to Gentile Arena on October 28th to face VCU. First serve is at 5 p.m. and will be broadcast on ESPN+. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Vanessa Hoxha.
Now let's look back at this week's Loyola Athletics matchups. First, women's soccer clinched their 11th straight postseason berth after a 1-0 win over the University of Richmond on October 23rd. As the 8th seed in the Athletic 10 tournament, they will travel to St. Louis to face the number 1 seed Billikens on October 29th at 1 p.m.
More matchups are coming to Gentile Arena very soon as men's and women's basketball get ready for their back-to-back preseason openers October 30th. First, women's basketball will take on the Purdue Northwest Pride at noon. This will mark the Ramblers' first game under head coach Allison Guth. Men's basketball will face the Calumet College Crimson Wave right after at 3 p.m. That wraps up this spooky episode of Rambler Sports Locker.
To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Loyola RSL and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Samantha Martinez.
And I'm Abbey Sileo. Happy Halloween! And don't forget to turn out the lights.